All right, folks, I'm over here with the cough that never ends. The stupid cough that never ends. All right, so we worked on this next car a little bit this morning off camera. This is Flowering Fubuki. And it's getting real easy to color match colors. I put this plate back here. And, it's not all the way up, but it's the color match on it's coming out really well. And I don't know if we're going to have a session tomorrow morning or not. I have a game day planned, and I don't know that even involves any filming. It probably doesn't. Gaming this stuff. So, where's the black? Oh, right here. Jeez, if I had teeth, would have bit me. So yeah, we painted this up a little bit this morning, and the pink's about right where it needs to be. That's pretty close. Really, the only thing I could use is we'll use a little bit of metallic in here. Just a little bit. There we go. Vallejo Old Rose. I've actually used this quite a bit, but I think the last time I probably used it was some on my Rajputs, some of my Indian troops. But I want to say somewhere I read that in some of these Indian cultures, that pink is like a sign of macho. I'm not making this up. Sit your pink ass down. Macho pink guy. All right. I'm going to paint this MG. We're going to start with Lead Belcher. This car is pretty lightly armed. bring this up one level with the iron breaker. Highlight some stuff on there. So we ended up keeping the windshield that was super, super bright blue and just gave it a couple of coats of dark tone and darkened it quite a bit. Okay. And we haven't glued this thing down, but we probably should. Now this is sticking out a little bit farther than it needs to. I'm going to cut this thing down. Yep, that's enough. So we're going to go ahead and close this thing up with the old hot glue gun, wherever she is. And then hot glue gun the front of that down. I'm just enjoying using the hot glue gun a lot better than I was using, just like I was using epoxy. Except it's a hell of a lot less messy. It's also a hell of a lot less permanent, but I'm doing a lot of stuff that needs some major gap filling, and the hot glue gun fits that bill really well. This is a car that could use an extra wing. A big old wang on there. I was looking for pictures of these. There were some of these Z's that were just absolutely gorgeous. There's one in particular that was black, and it had the flared fenders on it. And then I'm like, oh, look at the specs on this car. I'm like, it's not very fast. 8 seconds to 0 to 60 in 8 seconds. That's I think there's a Sentra out there that can do that. It's one of the few things you can enjoy, getting up to the speed limit quick. Because you can't go around speeding like a maniac. Well, you can, but you'll end up in jail. These little spider web, the gooey spider webs. Why is everything so sticky? Spider-Man's been fornicating again. Oh, okay. So it just has a front ram. It's got a turreted machine gun, and it's got a skill called Slipstream. All right, let's go back to where this was here. So regardless of whether or not I finish this one will not be racing tomorrow. So I've got like 20 vehicles to choose from. Almost 20 vehicles to choose from. That are all 27-point vehicles. So that's the ones I'm going to bring. I'm bringing my group of 27, which is almost all the vehicles. And we're going to be introducing Gaslands to somebody new that's never played it. I suspect they won't like it. This person will tell me whether they like it or not. They're not a word mincer. Back in the day, we had him try DBA, and he didn't like DBA. So, you know. What is this? Let's dismiss this, whatever the hell this is. There we go. So this will end up sitting up top here. I'm not gluing it in place. Probably need to bring it up a little bit. Now, I'm not loving the way these headlights turned out because they're weird. First of all, they're weird headlights. The headlights are really back here, and they have like this cover that's like clear. Of course, they molded it solid, so got black here. Let's get a little bit of white and see if we can't tinker with them. I messed around with them this morning, and I'm honestly I'm not happy with how it turned out. And I like how my headlights are, but on all my vehicles except this one, this is just kind of takes a different approach to it. I guess ultimately that's probably a little bit better than how it was before. See what the back of this 240 looks like in real life. Do you like to not paint the? They're a fan of not painting a lot of these other things on like they'll mold the detail, but then they won't give it any color. The Ford Escort's the worst one. I mean, like it's actually really cool looking, has a lot of detail. None of it's painted. Okay, so we need to look at 240Z rear. It's like that whole thing's black. Well, that ought to stand out really nicely. That ought to stand out really nicely. It's a good looking car, but that too underpowered. All right, perfect. Let's look at the front of the Z. Okay. All right, I'm gonna use the little boy's room. I'll be right back. What's up, Oof man? You up partying tonight? You up clubbing? So I don't know if I'm going to be on tomorrow morning because we do have a Gaslands game, and I don't know that we're going to film it because, you know, it's not just Mitch and I. It's someone else also. So I don't know how that's going to go, but the reality is, last time I played with Mitch, I have 15 cars he's never seen. I counted them the other day. There's 15 cars he hasn't even seen. So, you know, we're on a fucking tear. And somebody decided to send me more cars. They supposedly got some at a flea market, and they said I might receive them tomorrow. So we'll do an unboxing. I don't need any more cars. I don't even want to count them because they're organized. I probably have close to 200. Now I'm doing really good. I'm putting a hell of a dent on them, but I don't need more cars. I'm good. You know. Actually, if you're gonna stick around, I know it's late for you. We might do something that interests you. You can do late in bed. You gonna get laid tonight? Oh yeah, in bed. You know, I'm gonna set this aside for a second. Let's see if I can use you while you're still awake. And let's pull your brainchild out here. Yeah, it's your fault. And if it's great, you'll get the credit for it. Two things I'm going to bring out here. One of them is this one. And the other one is this. This is your Hulk. So, this is this aluminum foil. I wish it was heavier. So, I think in order to paint this, I gotta paint it in a way that it would be painted. So in other words, paint it metal first, and then put colors on it. So let's start all the way at the bottom. We're not gonna do iron, the iron one, because there's no iron things in this. It's steel. So we're gonna grab the darkest one we have, which is not Lead Belcher. It's Iron Warriors. Iron Warriors! You know, kind of a shitty TV show with, you know, American Ninja and Iron Warriors. Got those warrior ladies that, you know, could kick your ass. Mine too. Alright, so let's pull out this Iron Warriors. And we're going to give this a dusting of this color. So now it won't look so much like Jabba the Hutt's turd. It's like, oh, it's metallic. Got it. Ah, oh, okay. It's a wreck, you say. Ah, okay. And we're going to do the same thing with this one. This Land Rover. It's the cough that keeps on giving. This thing was originally British Racing Green, or, something like that. Hey, don't be falling down. I can't watch anything in bed. I'll watch something in bed, I immediately go to sleep. Start yawning. My bed's too comfortable. Alright, so we've got the base color here of this. Now I'm going to go ahead and take this one and paint it some kind of green. Okay, it was originally green. It doesn't really matter what color I paint it. It's not the cough that carries you off, it's the coffin they carry you off in. That's right. German camouflage dark green. Let's use this. I have no idea how this is going to be worth a damn. I'm not going to rinse this metal off of it. What color you want your wreck to be? Red? You want it to be a red wreck? And it may be that I end up having to give this another dry brush of metal on top of it. I do not know. Okay. I gotta be careful I don't use this a color that really does make it look like a turd. Let's see what happens if we use red. I was going to say there's a lack of modern brown or yellow cars, but if you're avoiding turd imagery, yeah, there is a lot of there's a lot of colors that just aren't used, Taupe. I was at the dealership getting my oil changed or something like that a little while ago, and there was a Subaru that was like taupe or like a forest green metallic, and I'm like, my car would look really good in that, but they don't make my car that color. They make it in blue, white, black, red, silver, which is what I have. I think that's it. There's nothing in between.
Actually, I'm not a fan of a white car. My car actually looks good in white. There's enough black around it to make it pop. But I like silver because if you get a scratch, it's not as noticeable. So, and I like things that are silver and black, anyways. Okay, we're gonna make it this thing. We're gonna make it this thing. We're gonna make it this thing red. Hey, we're gonna make it this thing red. Let's do this burnt cadmium red first. Red will work well with a yeah, the turd imagery. First thing I thought of is that turd sculpture that those Dutch, is it Dutch or Germans? I think it's the damn Dutch. Turd sculpture. There's no way these people didn't do freaking drugs. These giant poo guys. Yeah. It's the damn Dutch, isn't it? Rotterdam. Yeah. Yeah, and they want you to, and you're supposed to view it while wearing these suits that have genitalia. Like, fuck you, man. Like, you freaking weirdo. Get away from my kids. Fucking weirdo. That's what happens when you don't have bullying in school. Get away with stuff like that. Like, how many kids are you going to touch inappropriately before we're allowed to bully them? I don't mean the kids. All right, it's a little watery, but I think it'll do the job. Let's get most of this off. I didn't want to start with a really bright red yet, but I think it's going to need it. This reminds me of, okay, so when I was a kid, my dad would build things out of wood. He'd build, like, swing sets and shit like that, fort. And he loved painting it in this, I've forgotten about this, in this type of color. Almost like a boxcar red color. He loved painting things in this color. I don't know why. It was like a color that was like an outside paint type color as well, so probably avoid. But, like, why this color? Yeah, now it really does look like a turd. Oh, we got a bloody turd. What's this? Flat red. Flat ass red. Speaking of turd, Mitch was wondering when this thing was going to be done. The little poo wagon. Sounds like you want somebody to spill it on him or something. Woo! This is brighter than a whore's lipstick. I hate red lipstick. I don't mean just on me. I hope this is a brilliant idea, man. I'm not one of those people where, man, you sure it's not my idea? I hope it sucks. That's not me. I'm not that person. Now the problem is it is shiny. Right now it is. So I've got to kind of wrap my head around. I think it's going to work. I think it's gonna work. And if I had extra tires, put a couple of tires glued on there, you know, I think it'll work. It's certainly cost effective. Yeah, we're still going to do rusty things on it. It's not like, okay, have fun with that. It's like, come on, we want things to look good. That whole thing that I said, I want my I want my tables to look like it would if it was in, War Games, Soldiers and Strategy. Still goes for Gaslands. Still goes for Gaslands. The world is a shitty place in the world of Gaslands, but I want my stuff looking good. All right, this done been wrecked. Now I'm not going to give it a brown wash. I don't think. Let's try it without the brown wash. I remember in art appreciation, a teacher says, we can't say that it's good art or bad art. I said, I can tell you that the person had no talent whatsoever. I'm falling for that bullshit. There's stuff that's made, and you could tell that people put no effort in it. I think your Gaslands tracks will be themed almost like the old racing games. Arab Town, Treasure Island. Yeah, Arab Town's a good one. You have people in the crowds shooting big Giselles at people. Boom! The one in the palm trees work well. And that was just me kind of rudimentarily throwing it together. What the Giselle is wrong with you? Yeah, I know Arab Town's a great one. Something North Africa, something like that. Jungle. So what we're going to try tomorrow is we're going to try. I really wanted to try it with just two of us, but I guess the third person will just have to hopefully not throw us too much for a loop. But I want tokens. I want tokens to pull on who goes next. And there's two ways of doing it. You basically can put in, every player and a token for every player's car. And then just be like, if I have two cars, 2 Tony tokens in there. And then when a Tony token gets pulled out, I get to choose which one of my 2 cars gets to go first. That gives you some kind of control. But then again, I'm not really opposed to people not having control of stuff like that. Because Gasland, the race is supposedly happening in split seconds, right? So how much control do you really have? And then the other one is actually have the token has the name of the vehicle. So you pull in and it's like, oh, it's time for Mr. Green Scream to go. You don't want him to go next? Tough titty. He's the one that goes next, So I think I'm going to try, since it's less restrictive, I think we're going to try the one token for each vehicle and have the first player's name on it. They get to choose which one it is. And then when you use that token, you can put that token on your car so you know that it's already moved. I think we'll try that first. Okay. So this is what's left of that vehicle. So I'm going to do the same thing here. We're going to add some black washes and some crevices. Well, I hope whatever I'm getting in the mail, I hope that we don't have a lot of repeats. Because now I'm starting to get into the area where I've had so many vehicles that I start looking at cars and I'm like, I didn't know they make those. And then you look at them and then you're like, oh, it's the same body style of this other vehicle I have. It's just a different paint scheme. Like, for instance, I was looking up what this hot tub thing was, right? And this hot tub thing is actually some lucky something or lucky clover or something like that. So there's actually a little clover here. So there's a set of these Irish-ish themed cars, but they made them in other things. They just happen to have, the St. Patrick's Day type paint jobs on them. Loud, metallic, bright ass Kelly green, things. So I look at the other cars. I'm like, I don't mind having, they're after the whole Odago clan. I wouldn't mind that. Mick Fast. But they're the same body styles that a bunch of other cars are, So, of course, I think I am going to eventually do something with this thing, and I already know that I'm going to end up calling it Hot Tub Crime Machine. The only problem I have with it is, like, you can't really steer this thing out of a bubbling pool of whatever the heck it is. Oh, this has got a wang I could have cut off and used it for this guy. Oh well. I'm not getting to the point where I'm just, let me get that car and destroy it and use part of it for another car. I'm like, yeah, that's a little too much work, and I really don't want to destroy anything. The one that I hit with a hammer. Okay. I think it'll end up being pretty good. I think this will end up being actually better than this. All right. Go ahead and paint the door handles on here. The Race for Arab Town. Now, there's lots of stuff for that. Race through Shantytown. That would be a good one. This is black, right? Let's take some of that red. Mess with the taillights here. Oh, too bright. Have somebody send you a bunch of cars, then you end up like destroying them. Why'd you destroy all the cars? I said, yeah, I told you not to send me any. I'm not gonna do that. I don't want to destroy vehicles. The only reason this one's even destroyed is because I had 3 of these things. And honestly, the problem with destroying these is you can't hammer it down with enough nooks and crannies. And in nooks and crannies like this, you got too many, like, it's not crumpled looking enough. There's actually one thing I wanted to go to tomorrow morning, and I don't think I'm going to go to it. I had this thing called the Friends of the Library or whatever. And apparently the way it works is people that have like book collections go there and donate them, and they sell them, and the proceeds of the sale go to actually benefit the library. So I've got a couple of guys in the model group that are like, one guy in particular who's really adamant about, oh, it's like the best thing to go to. And I'm like, I don't know, I was planning on going to it. I don't need any more books. As a matter of fact, I'm real close to cleaning out my closet and putting some of it in storage. My DBA and my ancient books, I'm like, I need that stuff gone. I'm not going to get rid of it. It just needs to be out of here because we can use that area to store stuff for Gaslands and the World War II kits and things like that. Now, if I had a thing for like, if I was like hot for hippies or something like that, yeah, I'd probably want to go to that thing. It's unlikely that they would have something that is specific enough for my interest. And, I just don't need any more books. I mean, last time I bought a bunch of books, I got them for $1 a piece, and I don't think I've even opened them, you know? And it's not because they suck, it's just that, we got a finite amount of attention span. All right, let's do the front lights. Now, it'd be kind of cool to use these two in the game tomorrow and then realize, all right, this looks good on the board, or maybe it doesn't look good. We'll make more of these, but no more of the other ones. All right, let's get our let's get Tony's tone. Not really Tony's tones, but the weathering tones here. You can't do all the stuff to the wrecks that you don't do. You can't do stuff to the cars and not do it to the wrecks, because the cars will end up looking so much better than the wrecks. Like, man, the wrecks look terrible. I'm like, yeah, because you didn't do the same type of treatment. You know? If you want people to take them seriously, then you need to take them seriously. Chocolate brown. Oh, we're going to get a visitation from the wife soon. Sounds like I'm in jail. Well, not anymore. I've been in jail all week, but not anymore. We'll still do the bottom of it like muddy dirt type thing. And let that dry. Do the same thing on the bottom of the Land Rover here. Ahoy, Tritarch! What kind of a vehicle are you driving these days? What's your daily? I want to say you got like a RAV4 or something like that, if I remember correctly. Oh, hold on one second. The chancla's here. Tow truck. I don't have a tow truck. I mean, the closest thing I have to the tow truck is Gold Digger. I mean, I'm going to have a tow truck eventually. I want a police tow truck with the little thing turned around and it dangling a donut in front of them. You know. An old Dodge Dakota. I don't think I have one of those. Well, I supposedly have a whole bunch of cars, like 20 of them. That's what I was told, that are coming in tomorrow. Some guy's like, hey, I was at a Goodwill store and I saw them for, whatever. And I thought of you and I'm going to mail them to you. And I'm like, I don't need any more vehicles. Like, I've got hundreds of vehicles. Now, I'm not getting scared because they don't take up a whole lot of space unbuilt. But, and we're putting a dent on them. Let's put it this way. The last time I played with Mitch, I have 15 vehicles he's never even seen. So, yeah, we're on a tear. So we're gonna see how this wreck looks. Now I don't plan if it looks great. I still am not planning on smashing any real vehicles. They don't smash enough, if that makes any sense. Like, when a vehicle gets crushed, I mean, vehicles are mostly hollow. And, they're going to turn into this more than, this. This is just like, a big limb fell on it and it still kind of kept its own shape. You keep beating this with a hammer and you're not going to be able to take that side panel and get it smaller and more crumpled, more crinkled, maybe. It's too thick compared to what the real one would be. All right, let's go field drab. We're going to give these the same treatment that if it was a regular car. Let's see what we come up with. I hope this comes out great. I don't mind donating a piece of aluminum foil every time I need a wreck. Yeah, I don't have a tow truck. Oh, I do have a tow truck. It's the bling. It's the bling truck. I just haven't done it yet. But yeah, it looks kind of like this, except it's got a tow truck on the back. It's a 18-wheeler style. I mean, it's like it's a heavy duty, not to. Really enjoying doing the weathering and what I'm really looking forward to is doing some buildings. But the problem is that I need to find some buildings that are basically free. HO scale buildings and stuff. There was a guy that I know at the convention that was selling buildings for like $5 a piece. And I didn't buy them for a couple of reasons. I didn't want to get overwhelmed with too many things to do. And I know the way I am, I'll just basically give up and go in a different direction. But he had stuff that would work. He had stuff that would work, like, even if you put it on the inside of the racetrack, just to give it some kind of ambiance, it would work. And they were in decrepit state. They definitely need to be repainted. But I think they would have turned out all right. So, I don't know. It looks pretty damn good. Let's do the same thing. Let's pretend this is a vehicle. Yeah, it's just they cannibalize the tires. Ain't no tires here. Did drive a Silverado for a while until it got wrecked. I've got, what is that red one that Marty gave me? I believe it is a Colorado. That's the other reason I don't want to really modify these so much. I want people to, I'm into cars. I want people to say, oh, that's a Dart or that's a such and such. I mean, sure, there's made up vehicles like, this flaming tosser thing, whatever the hell it is. But that's the exception. Most of these vehicles are like real vehicles. So you got to look like they're in running order. And it's not like they're going to have 50 weapons on them. I mean, the game limits how many weapons you can have on them. So I don't want to put like a bunch of spikes and stuff and it doesn't do any good. Lost control trying to avoid deer and the roads were slick. Was it 4-wheel or just 2-wheel? Was just rear? You don't drive one of those pickup trucks that's taller in the front, lower in the back, do you? And my pet peeve is seeing somebody. I mean, I shouldn't care, but it's like, this wasn't a thing like 20 years ago. And that's people that just drive with their like arm just dangling on a side. You know, like their left hand is like covered in dog shit, right? And they can't stand that hand being inside their vehicle, so they let it dangle outside on the outside, you know, dirty part of it. It's always some redneck. You know, it's always some redneck that does that. And man, people do that all the time. It's like, man, you're too lazy to get your damn hand inside your vehicle. You're gonna lose it. That wasn't a thing 20 years ago. Nobody was doing that. It was a good truck, 1998 model with improved V8W engine and a crew cab, heavy duty toolbox, and tow pack. You know, back in the day, trucks were cheaper than cars, and that just isn't the case anymore. You know, I mean, cheaper than the equivalent car. I think this is going to look really good. I think it's going to look really good. These three colors, man, on the dry brush, the chocolate brown, the US field drab, and the Iraqi sand are just freaking stellar. They just work great. No, it was a normal two-wheel drive, and I don't do that retarded sag like those dumb kids. They call it a Carolina squat. Carolina squat. You can't see what's in front of you. You know, when I was growing up, people would have like the El Caminos and stuff like that, and they were lower in the front, right? Carolina sag because it originated in your state. Yeah, I don't know what the purpose of it is supposed to be, other than look stupid. You know, it still looks better than the people that do their freaking tires with like 45-degree camber. You know, that's even dumber. Be like, man, that's a really cool car. I'm like, oh, forget it. Forget what I said. Look at the tires. Forget what I said. All right, I know he's asleep, but Ben's got a winner here. Ben's got a winner. This is gonna work. There's enough, and it's still shiny in places it shouldn't be shiny. But this is totally gonna work for one of the turds that falls out of the garbage truck, or just having some like blocking a way to go. No, this is good. This is good. This is good. And we're gonna seal this, just like if it was something else. It's dumb because it fucks the handling and you blind people with your low beams. You're too boomer to add to mutilate my truck. Yeah. You're too boomer for this shit. I get it. Yeah, trucks are expensive. I'm not really a truck person, although I did have an Xterra for a used Xterra for a few years. And other than the gas mileage, I actually liked that car. I didn't like that it was top heavy, but it was nice being able to keep an eye on the people that were in front of the people in front of you. I mean, it was like, it was nice, and you needed to have that kind of reaction because it's not a sports car or something like that where you can like get away easier. Where's the I think it's light tone. It's the one that's orange. like trucks and old American muscle cars. Somebody, what do I do? Pick the wrong damn one? Dumas. I like handling, so muscle car is really not my thing. I mean, I'll say it again, you know? I mean, cars in the 60s and stuff, the American cars from the 60s were probably some of the best cars in the world at that time. Because other people's cars in the 60s sucked. But nowadays, I wouldn't drive a domestic vehicle. It's just a quality control. And it's a shame. They should be, the best vehicles in the world should be made here. We should have the best quality, but some people just don't care. Just make it last 3 years. Well, I'm like, it's an investment. I don't want to buy something that's going to fall apart on me. Now, unlike the things people were wearing fashion-wise, I think most of the cars from the 70s, obviously there's always ugly cars. I think most of the cars in the 70s are pretty attractive. And even the 60s. Now, 50s cars, ugly as shit. 50s cars are ugly as shit. Horrible. The Eisenhower cars, terrible. 57 Chevy, all those things are fucking ugly as shit. If you ask me, not a fan, But, stuff like this Torino's beautiful and badass looking. This thing, I forget if this is a GTO or a Chevelle. Great looking car. This is a beautiful paint scheme. Beautiful paint scheme. It's perfect for this game. Whatever this silver 64 Dart or whatever this thing is, this thing's beautiful. I do like those kind of cars. I just don't see myself driving one. They just don't have the handling. You'd have a big steering wheel that's really thin, and it does this. You can move it over like 3 inches, and the car still keeps going straight. Like, that's not my thing, Your dream car is a 69 El Camino SS, cobalt blue, white racing stripes, black interior, everything stock as possible. Let's take a look at it. But I would drive something like this before I drive one of them electric motherfuckers. I'm not driving one of them electric things. No. Okay, 1969, El Camino. And then I'll show you what I found this morning that I thought was gorgeous. Although it's too underpowered. El Camino SS 327 cobalt blue. Let's see what we got here. That's a good body style. Yeah, it looks good. That looks good. I couldn't find one in the color, but don't show me that. Show me this picture. This looks good. That's a good looking car. I don't like any of them space age cars. Easy on the eyes? No, they give me diarrhea. There might be one that isn't that way. Now, that's a good looking car. That's a good looking car. $40,000. Yeah, I don't think so. In some vehicles, stripes work. Muscle cars, stripes work on muscle cars. It's a good looking vehicle. All those Chevelles, all those things, they all look good. They look good to me. Pontiac Tempest. Oldsmobile. Yeah, they're good looking cars. And they're perfect for this game. I mean, this is the kind of shit you want, I mean, look at this. That's a cool car. I don't want to drive one. Not safe. As my daily. Now, you could probably work on one. There's a plus. So I'm looking for this Z, right? And I'm looking for a picture of doing the lights or something like that this morning. And I should have saved the picture of it. 240 Z. Does it have a year? If it had a year, I would have looked for it on the year. I don't think so. I didn't look for black, but the one that came up that was black, this is. That's my kind of thing right there. That is just. That's freaking gorgeous. Now, my car handles better than this, and this only gets. This is 8 seconds to 60 miles an hour, so. A bit slow, but it looks fast as hell. I like these. I love these flared wheel wells. Man, it looks good. That's a good looking car. That's a good looking car. Wouldn't drive a pink one though. That's asking a bit much. Yeah. They drink gas like a bitch. Are they that bad? Can't be worse than Xterra. It's like 16 miles a gallon. It's terrible. With no pickup. No pickup. All right, where's this drippy thing? It's here. Yeah, most of those cars from the late 60s and the 70s. Well, the cars that were, while kids were getting killed in Vietnam, the rich kids sitting here driving those cars here. That's kind of fucking sad. Guys are dying in Vietnam and kids are over here getting fucking high and driving, some rich muscle car, 15 miles a gallon. Yeah. Okay, so it's like the Xterra. It's yeah, it's pretty bad. They had to be more reliable than they are now. I mean, those cars, like Mopar cars, even consider Mopar cars like Chrysler cars now. Chrysler cars now are not very reliable. But a lot of those Plymouths and Chryslers and Dodges, they made some badass looking cars. But they weren't that fast because of freaking, they've got like 50% more horsepower than my car, but weigh 3 times as much. So, you don't have to be a math whiz to realize that, because you can't pick how fast you can go, but you can pick how fast you can get up to 60 miles an hour, right? And that's important. Like, if you get on the interstate, like, I want to be going interstate speed. You don't want to be like that one guy that freaking takes forever to merge, or that one person that was in a 45 mile an hour zone and they were going 20 fucking 7. They're going 27 miles an hour in a 45 mile an hour zone the other day. I'm like, I wasn't getting upset. I just laid on the freaking brights on their ass until eventually the blood flow started going back into their brain, and they realized they were being a nuisance to society. 1960s Chrysler Imperial and the Cadillac DeVille would get somewhere between 11 miles to a gallon and were land yachts. Wow. I got one of those Sevilles coming up, but it's like an 82 or something like that. And that's definitely one of the Urban Brotherhood cars. What did you call it here? 1960s Chrysler Imperial. I'm not familiar with that one. We had a Dodge Monaco, a 74 Monaco. Chrysler Imperial. That's a good looking car, man. What is this? This is at 93. That's a good looking car, man. It's just something like you put a ram on that thing. It just looks like, would like you'd go over like a speed bump and like 4 minutes later your car you would feel it. That's a cool car, man. Especially with this front. That's a good looking front. That's a big car and it's a two-door car. Oh man. Or it can be a two-door car. I I prefer two-door cars. They look faster. Green Hornet. I found that green station wagon that we had growing up in a Matchbox car. The guy wanted $10 for it, and it was like used, so it must be like limited edition. Let's see if I can find it. I believe it was a Matchbox. Matchbox. It was even green too. Green Ford. I'm not gonna put town and country. I'm gonna put Matchbox green Ford station wagon. No, it's not that fucking old. Jesus. Fucking Eisenhower car. Yeah, this thing right here. I believe it was this one. You had it at the store. That was almost the exact same color as our station wagon that we had. 1850. Yeah, I'm paying that. I totally would get one of those and you use it in this game. I remember it had leaded gas. I don't know how many miles a gallon it ended up getting, but I remember my dad I'd get in the car with my dad and we'd go over the bridge over the Tennessee River when we lived in Alabama. And it wasn't in Tennessee, it was still in Alabama, but it just cut through there because the gas was cheaper. Oh, it's got a couple doggos in the back. Oh, it's got like a Doberman and a Rottweiler sticking their head out. That's kind of cool. Yeah, I ain't paying $10 for that. Mercury Cougar Villager. I guess that was the Mercury equivalent. The Ford one it was a Ford Town and Country is what it was. Cool stuff, man. Cool stuff. Cool stuff. Yeah, but cars are interesting. You can't afford cars anymore, so it's like I can't afford the 1-to-1 scale cars, so got to stick with the the little fake ones. The little toy cars. Thanks, COVID. Now what we'll do is we'll run some flat coat on this and see how this looks. But honestly, that looks pretty decent. As a put it there on the, and I'll use it tomorrow. To block some lane or something like that. You know, 1967 Plymouth Fury is a mean-looking car. Looks like the name implies. It looks like a very pissed-off Cadillac. You know? You keep bringing up cars. I'm gonna keep looking them up. 19. Do I have a Fury? I don't think so. Fury is a great name though. 1967. Yeah, the year is important because what a car looks like changes dramatically in some years. 1967 Plymouth Fury. It looks good. It looks good. Especially when you've got these type of wheels on them. Not rims, but actual wheels. You know, not the ones with a zillion spokes. Plymouth Fury was the reason he had a proliferation of muscle cars in the 60s. It was the car the others measured up to and surpassed. Well, it's a good looking car, man. I mean, I'm not a Mustang fan. There's some model Mustangs. I don't know which one it is. I want to say it was a 69 or a 70 with those Boss ones. Those look badass. But like your standard 1960s Mustangs, I think look. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of them. I think a car like that looks a lot more badass than a Mustang, regardless of whatever the hell Mustang's performance is or whatever. Okay. Oh, we need drippings on the wreckage. We need drippings on the wreckage. Yeah, the only cars I'm not really a fan of are those like hot rods from the 1930s that are all souped up. You know, like them ZZ Top looking cars. I'm not a fan of that. I'm not a fan of the cars from the 1950s. Other than that, you know, the older cars I'm fine with. You know, a lot of them have some pretty cool lines in them. Especially now, you can get all kinds of spare parts and stuff over on Amazon. Yeah, that Fury looks good. I don't think I have one. I have this, whatever this is. Whether this is a Chevelle or a GTO. I think this one's a Chevelle. The GTO's got that split in the. It's got the split in the front, in the grill. It's got like a break in the grill. And it seems like old muscle cars had soul and design was an art and not soulless engineering and hyper efficiency. What is it? Does it say which one this one is? Oh, this is the one that has no name. It's definitely a Chevelle. Or a Nova. It's a Chevelle or a Nova. This is going to be beautiful. This is going to be... Just this paint job. Why would you repaint over this paint job? This paint job's awesome. Oh no, I wouldn't want a car without air conditioning. That's, I want air conditioning and Bluetooth and a third pedal. I don't know. Without all these muscle cars, were they stick shift or like a mix or? Yeah, I'm a clutch fan. Clutch Hound. Is that a name? I just came up with it. It is now. Okay, so these two need to be sprayed. This Torino's fucking gorgeous. And wide as hell, too. Looks like a Nova. Okay. Well, a Nova and a Chevelle, they're related somehow, right? I have a feeling the Nova is like the little brother of the Chevelle. They definitely have some similar lines to them. All right, I'm gonna get a soda. I'll be right back. So I think that after this game, after this weekend, the next thing I'm going to be working on is I think, because I haven't done any of them. I did two of them a while ago, but they're not converted. They don't have any weapons on them or anything. And that's the Mexican lowriders. Because I have about 6 of them. And And I haven't done any of this stuff on it. Nova was considered more of a commuter, souped up Econobox and a muscle car. At least its early iterations, complete with Ford Falcon as an entry level car. My buddy Marty said that he had a. What was it that he said he had? And then I'm like, oh, that's like the baby brother of the GTO. And he's like, yeah, that's what it is. And I'm like, because there's body style similarities to it or whatever, whichever vehicle he had. I forget which one it was, but it was actually a cool looking car. I thought, whatever it was. What was it that he had? And I'm like, I bet that. So I mean, I'm not super knowledgeable, but I'm definitely interested. And when there's interest. Yeah, what is it? Oh, here's this picture that he sent of it. He's 6. Tempest. Pontiac Tempest. I'm like, that's got to be like a junior GTO. That's like freaking good looking car, man. That's a good looking car. Got some real mean lines to it. Good looking car. And the fact that it's 2-door makes it look faster. Makes it look more mean. You got a 4th door, and it's like, You get a 3rd generation Novas and SS coupes, hatchbacks. They're entry level muscle cars. Yeah, it'd be cool to test drive some of those. Test drive them and not drive like a fucking idiot. I'm not interested in driving like a fucking idiot. That's what Forza's for. Go play Forza Horizon. The Chevelle was a more of I can commute and throw down with other muscle cars. Interesting. Well, you've definitely piqued my interest enough to where I gotta watch some YouTube stuff on all those cars. They almost all look good. Some look better than others. But I had a friend of mine who had a 1971 black Stingray, and people couldn't you couldn't stop at a red light and people wouldn't gawk at you. And I don't know. I mean, it's just kind of a. Actually, I have one. I have a Stingray that's a 70s Stingray that's got some Chinese dragon or some shit on it or something like that. Some Asian gangster or something driving that. Got a golden dragon, But that's got to handle like shit. I mean, that's got to handle kind of like a Porsche is. It get really out of control with the way that the weight is on it. Very young lad, remember your dad's Chevelle would haul ass and smoke these 90s Camaros. Well, what is an old car? What is an old car from the 60s and the 70s like that could handle worth a damn? Is there one that could handle better than any other ones? I mean, can a Mustang handle a lot better than a Chevelle or a GTO or something like that? Because all these muscle cars are made for going straight, dragster stuff. Is there one of them that can handle, or you got to let the European cars do something like that? This thing's beautiful though. That thing's really beautiful, and this thing's badass. This is a make-believe car, but this thing's awesome. And this thing's going to be awesome. I think I'm going to have to repaint it. It's just a little too weird. See if I can kind of put it together. Give you an idea what this thing looks like. But it's got these containers on the back here. And it almost looks like a 68 Camaro that
just isn't that. You know, like a make-believe type of... See if I can find the bottom to it. Which is this one? Oh, this is the tosser. Well, I don't remember where the bottom of it is, but here's the body style of it. Really cool looking lines on it. Mean looking. Muscle cars don't handle curves very well. You need some European shit box to hug curves like a long lost lover. No, but what's like the best handling American muscle car? I'm gonna look that up. What's the best handling American muscle car? It's unsatisfying to, like, you know, these people that are into drifting and stuff like that. If you're drifting, you're going too fast. You know, there's nothing satisfying about, I mean, to my mind, best handling U.S. muscle car. Let's see what we got here. Okay, I don't care about modern stuff. 69 Ford Mustang Boss 302. That's a beautiful car. And I don't like Mustangs. And the 1960s Chevrolet Corvair. Okay. What the hell does a Chevrolet Corvair look like? I mean, I've seen all these cars. It's just a matter of like, oh, that's what it is. Oh, that looks like shit. Sorry, no offense if you have one. That looks like the fucking Jetsons. Yeah, that's 69 Boss Mustang. I saw one of those getting ready to pull out. It's just mean looking. And I mean that in a good way. Yeah, that's a good looking car. That's a good looking car. That's a good looking car. '80s muscle cars. What was that one everybody always wanted? A damn Firebird. Oh, I got one of them. Or it's a Camaro or whatever. I got a white one. Got a big eagle on it or whatever. I guess it's got to be a Firebird if it's got a Firebird on it, right? So that's why I don't want to put all this armor and shit on them, because I still want it to look like the freaking car that it is. At that point, you know, it's like, oh, I'll just spray the whole thing black and just paint it rusty. And like, no, I'm not doing that route. I'm not going that route. I like my colorful ones that are, you know, that have personality. Like this little, I know this is a little shit box by your definition. But, you know, this Focus has, it's all painted green. But it has some really nice detail on it that just needs to be painted. You know, it has even the RS logo back here. Like, everything's there. It's like, they just sprayed it this, you know, sapo green. It's like a rana. It's more like, it's a rana green. You know? But, I mean, it's got details on it. Every time I run into one of these, they always want to race me. You ever come into a Focus RS, they always like, pull up next to me, they always want to fucking race me. I don't know. I had one guy was in a Charger and he wanted to race me. I'm like, you have an automatic, dude. Like, go away. Go away, you redneck has been. Corvair doesn't look that bad. Its engine was a boxer style and in the rear. I think this Torino is beautiful. I think this looks freaking awesome. An awesome looking vehicle. Or at least in this color scheme. All right, back to okay. Well, we got this. We got this done without even trying. And then here's a truck that's going to be a portable. This is what I should do. This is what I should work on next. Because I could use this in the game, and it can just be it can just be sitting there. Because we're not using Fubuki. We're not using Fubuki in the game tomorrow. So, I'm only going to bring like 24 fucking cars. And they're all like 27 points. So, somebody's like, why do you got so many 27-point cars? It just happened. And it makes sense at this point to keep it going. You know? Yeah, Corvair looks weird, man. 1980s Monte Carlo looks like a villain car. God, I want to... What's the... That the one that's like taller in the front and swoops towards the back? I think so. 1980s Monte Carlo. Yeah. Is that what I have for one of my Urban Cowboys? Or is it I want to say it was a Regal. I have a Regal. Yeah, that one's going to be the Black Mamba. Because it's black. A villain car. Which is that one that kind of looks like it? That's the... Is it a Cougar? Yeah, Cougar looks similar to it as well. I guess they're the kind of competitive ones. At least the one from the 1980s. It's funny, the one from the 1960s looks more like a Camaro. The one car that I always thought that was really cool looking, even this piece of junk, is an Isuzu V-Across. And that would make a great vehicle for this. And they go for a pretty fucking penny if you could find one. This thing, that would make a great vehicle for Gaslands. All right. It's got a big engine, two-door, no space in the back. They're expensive. Isuzu's is bad quality for a Japanese brand. Looks cool though. Got a lot of plastic on it though. I still haven't gotten WRX. I'll have to find one eventually. I'll make a silver WRX called Sabrina. Okay, so we need to paint the stack and all kinds of shit on here. Funny, the grill is like the right color. All right, let's get some primer out here. Yeah, so the thing that's actually really hard to find is cop cars. And really hard to find, meaning walking into a store and finding an assortment of them. It's cop cars. So I am going to have cop cars, but they're not going to be played by anybody. You know, they're going to be hide behind signs. And I don't think I'm going to have many guns. I don't think they're going to have any guns. And it's going to be, I think, one of those things that you can't, probably one of those things like they don't have guns and you can't shoot at them. You know, they're just there to ram people and get people off the road. You know, doing pit maneuvers. That's what they do. But all the cop cars are going to have insulting names. Glad I find a stream I can geek out over cars and miniature games. Well, I was telling the people at the model meeting, and I don't know, it's kind of hard to give those guys a rise because they seem like they're like 20 years older than me, and they act like they're 40 years older than me. But the thing is about cars is this game, I think, is a lot more popular than tanks because everybody likes cars. Everybody either has cars or there's cars that they like, or I mean, it's there's a lot more commonality to it. Instead of like, hey, what's your favorite tank? Oh, the green one. Like, they're all fucking green, I mean, there's some different stuff, So I think that there's a big appeal to it. And man, there's a lot to choose from. I mean, it's a lot. It's not like, well, okay, well, we got Sherman tanks and Mark IVs. It's like, oh, you got frickin' everything. I mean, even if you just had like Fords, it's like a million different Ford things, Plus, you got all the Mercuries, and then you got all the domestic stuff and the foreign guys, and. But people are weird about cars. People can you see some. If I see somebody that has like a cool car, I have no problem telling them, hey, I think your car's pretty cool. I ran into a parking lot, a guy at Publix. You guys have Publix up there, right? This guy got out of this Mustang, okay, and it was a modern Mustang. And I said, you got a cool car, and I don't even like Mustangs. It was cool. It looked good. He had it put together. But you go to like the car show and stuff like that, man, everybody's a prick, man. Like, nobody can say anything nice about anything else anyone else has. It's like, man, like, it makes you less of a man or something. Not everybody, but most people. I was like surprised. Okay, so that's going to be black. I'm going to keep this in that die-cast color. That'll work for that. We've got some kind of spindles or something back here. We're going to paint this in black as well. Cables. Yeah, they are more relatable. You can paint them all kinds of colors. Now, one of the cool things is like, I was gonna paint that one of my favorite ones is the Mr. Green Screen, which is a Plymouth Cobra, right? Plymouth King Cobra, whatever the hell it is. So I'm like, let's see what colors the interior came in, because I want to, I mean, I'll paint the interiors, to a degree, to the point where you could see it if you're looking at it from the outside. And I found that one of them was painted green, and that made sense because it goes with the green color that mine was. So I painted it green. So there's all kinds of picture references and stuff on there that's really useful. I'm seeing more and more of those stupid Tesla trucks, which, hey, they might be great and all that, but they look like ass. They look like if you and I went to welding class and welded a fucking car. Actually, our car would look better than that. It's like a car for somebody that's allergic to curves.
And they're fast as hell, but who cares? You know? RC plane snobs. Yeah. Yeah, well, I understand like being ugly to people, but at least let the guy be an asshole first. Not just that's not like your go-to thing. Like I'm just gonna be a dick. Like why? That might be the, you might actually get along with that guy really well. There's a Jack over here. Ain't no Jack painted white. When I went to the range too, same thing. Half the people were just dickheads. Oh, you got one of those? Those ain't worth a shit. I got four of them. Well, if they ain't worth a shit, why do you have four of them? You know? Yeah, those Tesla trucks look ridiculous. It's like a fucking dumpster. Stainless steel dumpster. But having an old muscle car like that, more than gas mileage, I'd be worried about safety. I mean, modern cars are much safer than those big battleships. Your dad was in RC planes for a while, and the club or group he was in that rented this field to fly their planes, half were insufferable pricks. Yeah. It just, I think a lot of people just, I think a lot of people live with folks that are just, that henpeck the fuck out of them. I had this one guy that worked for me, and he was like, I called him the pig farmer because he like raised potbelly pigs or whatever, his house or whatever. And this guy came in and it was like, he was fucking bitter all the damn time. And I think what I nailed it down to is basically when he got home is his lady would just rip him a new one. So he just took it out on everybody else. Oh, we got rear view mirrors. We got to paint them. Hey, it adds something to it. I'm pretty disappointed to find out that 3D bot maker does all the voices himself. That's a bit disappointing. I was happy. I was hoping there was actually a 2D guy. He's got all the good lines. Your dad had this lower tier Spitfire model that flew flawlessly. It lacked all the bells and whistles, and he got a nicer model of a Corsair, and they still talk shit about it. Yeah, you just can't be nice for other people, you know? That's just people that do shit like that. They're not happy with their life. You know? Like, I went to this model show a couple weeks ago where I got sick. And I ran into this guy that I've known for about a year. And I've only seen him at different model shows. He's been at 3 different ones. And he's like, he has this attitude like I've known him his whole life. And he's just always happy. He's upbeat. We always have a good time talking about different stuff. He doesn't have a fucking agenda. Just an all round nice guy. And those people are really rare. They're really, really rare. If you're doing a hobby and you're having a miserable time, you need to find another hobby, man. Hobbies don't pay enough for them to, put you in a bad mood. Yeah, Mitch and I would go to the gun range because this was like 10 years ago when we were doing, I guess, technically competitive shooting, even though I wasn't competing against anybody other than myself. And half the people there were just uber competitive. Uber competitive. And you just didn't want to be around them. So it ended up being like 25% of the people were cool. And yeah, just a shame. And I don't think it was because of guns. I think it was just people were that way. I don't know if I could build an RC plane and then crash it. That'd be really sad. A lot of time goes into those things. And you gotta fly it, and it's going away from me, so I gotta do the controls backwards. I'm like, oh, no. That's just a whole other level of something. Spitfire, yeah, that'd be a plane to have. I love Spitfires. Beautiful plane. Beautiful plane. British planes only come in two flavors: beautiful planes and ugly as fuck. There's no middle ground for those guys. And most of them are beautiful, okay? But there's no middle ground. Playing a lot of planes on the War Thunder and having a lot of fun playing that with Don, because we talk about World War II shit the whole time, And I don't have an agenda. It's not like, oh, okay, well this plane is in a P-51, it's a piece of crap. I'm like, no, I appreciate everything, you know. There's low tier bomber that we got when we were playing Americans, and I play everybody except the Chinese. I haven't played the Chinese yet. And it's called a B-34, which it's like a civilian aircraft that was. I mean, the thing is fast as hell. I never even heard of it before. It looks like a mail plane or something like that. It's a decent looking plane. The problem I have with American planes is generally the lines on American planes are just fine. Sometimes the paint schemes are just a little substandard. I don't like that whole late war completely gloss dark blue. It looks shitty. It might have been effective, and it probably was effective, but like doesn't make me want to build one of those planes, you know. So like if I was going to build a Corsair, I'd build one of the Corsairs that had the had the not as dark blue and had the different underside color, which I think they did that early on in 43. When you start getting into 44 and 45, everybody's running that whole late Navy type color, whether it was Navy or Marines or, they pretty much just all use that same scheme, which was probably more effective. That's one of the reasons I don't like Hellcats. Hellcat, I'm no doubt it was a good plane. Just don't like the way it looks. Don't like the paint jobs that they had. think I'll get up in the morning and I'll spray this if I get this one done. This vehicle and the two wrecks, take them with me. Put them out on the battlefield for scatter terrain. I believe that's the correct terminology for it. Yeah, but any of those forums are really bad. You go to, I would imagine probably the car forums are just as bad. Guys, love the conversation. Need your sleep. I'm on call this weekend. Okay, man. Well, I'll be back on later. Appreciate you hanging out with me. You're not missing much. I only got a little bit left of me, and then I got to get up early too. So, I'm sure we'll see you back around. And we can talk more cars. No, the internet's a wonderful thing, man. We can find all kinds of information. Like, I wonder who makes this. And, you can find out. It's educational. And these things have nice details if you just need to find a way to make them pop. This isn't a regular die cast color. I'm going to leave it in that color. I mean, you'll probably paint over it and enhance a little bit, but hell, it's already painted steel. This is one of the ones I got from the Vintage Toy King, and he had at least 6 other ones, in all variety of colors. Same style. He had one that was red. He had one that was yellow. Almost got that one. Almost got the yellow one. I figured, let's get one of these things. This might work like as a mobile ramp. This is a Matchbox, right? No, it's a Hot Wheels. 1986 Malaysia. Fisher Motors Limited. That's what's written on here. I'm not going to go in there and do all that stuff. It's going to remain closed, and it's got enough of that brown wash in there to make me happy. Chains, tools, spare parts. What's up, Justin? How you doing, man? You one of those people that doesn't mind that I'm doing cars?
I mean, everybody's into fucking cars.
Right? Everybody's into cars of some sort or another. This is a hoot, man. This is a big hoot. Really enjoying this a lot.
Oh, that's the primer.
Weather's probably really nice where you're at, unless you're going swimming. I actually had some days recently where it wasn't too oppressive. All right. I think this is a handle. So I'm going to paint this primer black. I think that's supposed to be a handle. These things have nice details. You just got to get in there and you're the one that's got the RAV4. I've been good. You building Gasland war vehicles? Yes, absolutely. You're the one that has the RAV4. I was thinking I thought it was Tritarch. You guys look the same on the internet.
Dropping down to 37 degrees tonight and the heat's still off.
Absolutely. You know how much you got to pay for that? And it's free. You know? Yeah, I've got, what was the count the other day? 22 Gasland vehicles, and really the first 6 you can't count. They were already done. Or first 5. So, just a matter of a couple weeks. I'm doing about a vehicle every other day. So, and I got a pile of them. I mean, I've got like hundreds. I have hundreds. More than 100 is hundreds, so hundreds. I got more than 100. I got lots to choose from, And I love rummaging through them, and give me a big pile of them. I'll look through them all. This was in a big pile of stuff. Actually, the guy had them in little Ziploc bags and thrown in a pile, so they wouldn't chip up, banging into each other, kind of thing. All right, let's get some of the what's this? The darkest of colors here of the metallics. Iron Warriors. Let's get some Iron Warriors out here. And this does have a little bit, it has a piece of metal that separates the 2 windows, but they didn't paint it. They left it in the same color. So we're going to do that. We're going to paint it so we get to color match that, or at least get close, which I really like to do. I like to do it because I have pretty good results with it. If I sucked at it, I probably wouldn't want to do it. I mean, who the hell wants to do something that they suck at? Oh, I can't wait to fail again, you know? That's no good. Man, this cough that just fucking won't go away. Alright, this is the stack. This is an old truck. No, what's that called? No DEF on this thing. No DEF on this truck. I'll be posting tons of Flames of War stuff to your channel soon. Is that what you're working on? You're changing the rules though, right? Which I'm not judging you. I think that's the way to go. I'm not playing anything by the book anymore. You know, what do you feel about changing the name of the game? Somebody would be like, you're not playing Flames of War. You can't call it Flames of War. So, well, you know what? The author ain't paying me shit, so I can call whatever the hell I want. I bought his rules, so screw it, you know? But, same thing with me. I'm not playing this exactly by the book. I'm playing it mostly by the book. You know? I mean, the only reason to change is to make it better. I'm not trying to sell the fucking rules. I'm trying to make a better game. You know, we got a lot of experience playing games. We know what we like. We know what works. But if you give me a hard time, I'll just change the name of it. I really should call this, instead of Blastlands, instead of Gaslands, Blastlands. And instead of Blastlands, call it Blasterisk. You know, like an asterisk. Like, oh, you're changing the rules. It's an asterisk now. Oh, this thing is stuck. Nothing a little bit of this can't solve. Hand sanitizer. Fixes all. Yeah, them days of, oh, you gotta play it the way the rules say, that shit's over. Didn't know there was rules. Make sure you post finishing details when you're done. Yeah, I've been trying to post everything on Facebook. You know, this game came out 7 years ago, and I played it a little bit, and then we just went back to doing what we were doing. But I plan on doing videos and stuff for it. I like doing videos of the stuff we're playing. But I'm not going to edit it and stuff. I mean, it's just going to be live or whatever. Oh, I can't watch your live videos. It takes too long. Well, I can't edit them for your lazy ass. You know, there is a fast forward button. You know, don't be afraid of using it. I can't spend all that time editing videos. I wouldn't get any painting done. I got painting to do, man. I got hundreds of vehicles to do. Literally. There's a beautiful blue on this thing. All right, let's see if we can color match this thing. All right, so we're looking at a color like, no. I might actually start with that though. It's close to this. It's really close to that. All right. It just has to be close. It doesn't have to be perfect. Honestly, after you weather it, you can't tell much of a difference. Okay, this is what? Turquoise? Light turquoise. Turquoise. Light turquoise. That is primer. We don't want to use that. We want to use a little bit of black. I'll say it again. Flames of War has a really good website, and they got a lot of like ideas for food for thought and stuff there. I just don't. I don't just don't like their rules. Miniatures are just fine. I mean, I've said it before. If I hadn't gotten into 20 millimeter, I'd probably be doing 15s. But they came out with a set of rules and discontinue things, and you don't care about that if you're making your own rules. Just like I'm not collecting Hot Wheels or whatever. I don't give a shit that's like I'm not on the hunt for treasure hunts and stuff like that. Like I don't care, man. Fuck, I'm quitting my day job. Fuck that. My job's holding me back. Fucking nailed it. Rock and roll, baby. Rock and roll. I believe all these things on the roof are marker lights, and I believe they're only marker lights to the front. So, with that intention, I'm going to come in here with a little bit of primer, and I'm going to prime only the front of them. And that's going to end up being orange. This thing's going to end up looking great. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and prime the area where the headlamps are going to be. And I believe this down here is the turn signals. Of course, it may be that. All right, we're going to prime that as well. What about on the back? We got any tail lamps? Yeah, well, way the hell back here, but they're not even visible. So we're just going to forego that. All right, we got a couple of rear view mirrors. Yeah, these two wrecks, man, these... Let's see if we can finish this, and we'll fire up the airbrush in the morning and spray these two and this guy, and we'll use them in the battle. They're just off to the side. Well, this one could work. This could double as a ramp, even though it doesn't touch all the way here. It's that's why I got it. I'm like, oh, it's a mobile ramp. Well, we need it over here, or need it somewhere else. All right, this is black. Yep. All right, let's get some white out here. You take a step back from World War II, or you're done with World War II stuff going in a different direction. I'm just taking a step back. I'm itching to film games, and the climb of my responsibility to get the World War II game going is just too great with my workload. This is a lot more lighthearted, and honestly, I think this appeals to more people. So yeah, we're not doing away with World War II. I'm definitely walked away from Ancients. I'm not doing Ancients anytime soon. World War II, I just honestly, I'm having such a great time doing this. I don't know when the hell I'll go back to World War II. I mean, I'm having a lot of fun. You go to freaking grocery store and you're like, hey, I wonder what kind of diecast they have there. I mean, even if you don't buy any, it gives you something to look forward to. It's like, it's amazing. Hold on, I'll be right back. And the only reason I've kind of embraced, allowed myself to step away from World War II is that this is technically the same scale. It isn't, but it is. Like, I'm perfectly happy using 1/72nd scale figures, or 20 millimeter figures. They don't have to be 1/64th scale figures. So, if I do a piece of terrain or I do something, it's compatible with it. It's not like I'm doing 15s or 28s or something weird like that. That's why I'm kind of like okay with it. Like I'm at peace with it. But everybody else does a million different things. Like I should be able to as well. But it's mainly for filming. I mean, the game is a lot of fun. Crazy shit happens, and anything that has like crazy shit that happens. I don't know that I'm going to be able to film tomorrow because we have a third person that I don't know if they're film friendly. I don't know if they'll do well on camera. Let's put it that way. It's Mitch and myself and this other person, which I've gamed with before. He's fine, but it just, he has a different attitude than we do. Let's put it that way. I'm really enjoying playing games, and this is totally because of DBA. I really enjoy playing games, talking out loud what I'm going to do. Just like, okay, well, I could do this or I could do that. What do you think? And we've played this. We played this racing game 4 or 5 times now. Just Mitch and I recently, and I don't know if he does this as well. I think he does. I enjoy playing by committee. Like you look at something like what are your options, and just talk out loud what your options are and stuff like because there's factors that you can't control, like rolling those dice, and you may want to do one thing and you can't do it. So I enjoy the social interaction of what's the correct terminology of kicking ideas off of each other. Like, okay, well, I could make a left, or I don't think I could do that. Just talking stuff out loud. I think it helps people. It helps the audience if there's an audience watching it because they understand like why the fuck is that guy doing that? Like, oh, that's why he's doing it. So I really enjoy command by committee, and the person that's gaming with us tomorrow actually came up with the term command by committee about something he doesn't like. So he does not like. Look, and here's the reality: is command by committee isn't to force people to play a certain way. It's the social interaction of like considering different viewpoints, and I really really enjoy it. So. Not like I don't want anybody to know what the hell I'm thinking. I mean, how does that benefit anybody? But anyhow, so I don't know that we're going to film tomorrow. It's just introducing a new person to Gaslands. They may not like it. The reality is that Mitch and I do. So. If this person hates Gaslands, it's not going to really affect anything. It's like if I use my World War II rules and like nobody likes them other than me, fuck them. I don't care. I like them. I'll play them solo if I came down to it. It's too big of an ask right now with all the responsibilities that I have. It's just too much work at this point. But we're definitely on a tear. I mean, I've built like 15 vehicles Mitch hasn't even seen. So.
And that's actually one of the things that's keeping me moving forward. Is that I said when I was doing the World War II stuff, one of the things that really motivates me is to have a game that looks fucking awesome. Right? Like the people that have in those war game magazines, like why the hell do they get to play some beautiful looking game and I don't? It's a beautiful blue color. Rims look weird. Look like they have like saw blades on them or something, which I guess would technically be appropriate. Like Masala. Look out for that cheating Masala with his saw blade hubs. You know, the best thing about the dropper bottles is it's really hard to open a dropper bottle and like get paint on yourself. It just doesn't happen. I'm gonna put orange markers here. I don't know if it's right or wrong. Seems like that's where they should go. All right, one thing that's going to make a big difference is weathering this thing. So before we add any kind of rust or anything like that, let's get these magic colors out here. All right, where is chocolate brown? That's step one. Yeah, this is when you know when you're on a roll. You're like, man, I need to go to bed, but fuck it, we need to finish this. You know, it's not instrumental to be finished, but it'd just be nice to have this kind of as a side thing. So like, you know, if every time you play, you got 2 or 3 new things to add to the game, it's gonna, you know, it'll take care of itself. Let me test it down here first. And the secret to dry brushing is use a lot of layers. Don't just dry brush it once. It doesn't look very good. Well, you only use one freaking color, man. It doesn't work that way. I mean, you could do it if you want to. You're just not going to have the effects, the results that you think you're going to have with only doing one color. I mean, I'm doing 3. Playing game. I don't know that I'm going to play it live.
If it was just Mitch and I, we'd be doing it live, but we have another person. And they might not want to be live. They might, they might do live and not be the, have it. I don't know. I don't know. I wouldn't count on it. But we're scheduled to play next Saturday as well. So that one will probably be live. I know that some of the people that are playing, they're definitely up for live games. Luke and stuff, yeah. Luke is always fun playing these driving games because he can't drive worth a fuck. And that makes for a great game. Because, like, for me, the most important thing is don't drive like a fucking idiot and run into things. That's like job one. Don't drive like you're under the influence of stuff. If you get blown up by guns, okay, well, you're in a war zone, but don't drive like a moron. But we got some things that we're going to change to the rules in the game tomorrow, so it'd be kind of nice to not film that and just see how that goes. I suspect it'll go great. This isn't our first rodeo changing things. So it's still at its core the same. It's just, just being able to not be so obvious who goes next. Games that are like on autopilot just create apathy. Like if some phase is coming and I don't get to do anything in it for the next 30 minutes, like you end up, just let me know when you end up going to another room or making coffee or just not being interested. All right, and now we have Iraqi sand. Now, the interesting thing about them is traveling with these cars. So what I've started doing is just put them in a box and wrap them in paper towels. And it actually work really well. Obviously, you got to make sure you don't drop the box. But you'd have to be careful not to drop the box no matter what they were in. But I do definitely want to get a display here to put these things, because these things look too awesome not to display them. And we need somewhere to put them because they're growing like crazy. I want to put enough weathering that, like, is this in a built-up area, or is this out in the dirt, or is it in the mud? I'm like, yep, it's all of those. Okay. Oh, how fucking stupid of me. So this vehicle's actually not going to have a name because it's just basically an NPC, for lack of a better term. NPV, non-player vehicle. Now, the important thing is that does this look equivalent with the other finished vehicles? Does it look like, they live in the same environment? And they do. They do. So, this is where we're going to stop for tonight. We'll get up in the morning and spray this guy, clear coat him. But anyway,